So, do you want to learn how to ride a bike to join the crowd or to escape it? This is the kind of riding which will determine what your first bike should be. And in this episode, our guest will help us in this department. So, this is JP Tuason, the founder and CEO of Tuason Racing, and you are watching Riding Shotgun Conversations Season 2. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. And our guest for today is a good friend of mine. We've done a lot of projects together. He is a BMW Motorrad Asia certified riding instructor. Everybody, let's welcome Mr. KK Wong. Come on down, my friend. Hey, how you doing? How are you?
Good, JP.
Long
Good to see
time.
you.
So hopefully we get out of this lockdown soon and we can all hang out and drive cars, ride bikes.
Yeah, that's what everybody is looking for. Yeah, we are in a lockdown in Malaysia as well, and once the borders are open, I believe many of us, bikers or drivers will be looking forward to travel to other countries. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy because a lot of friends that I have in the middle of lockdown are just going nuts and buying cars and bikes left and right. They've got this last minute fear of missing out, right? They're spending money like there was no pandemic, and I
Well,
think people are feeling that life is short, right? What's your take on that?
I think it's the same in a lot of countries, right? If you look into the statistics, luxury cars, luxury bikes, and we were talking earlier before the show, premium luxury watches, they are all gone. Yeah. So people just want to spend their money. They can't spend it overseas. So they are buying
Yeah,
all the good stuff. And maybe I call it retail therapy, which is a good thing to keep the economy going on. Yeah. Yeah.
I totally agree. All right, so to get things started, hey, give us a bit of a background on yourself for those of our viewers that are watching that don't know who you are. Tell us how you got started in all of this BMW Motorrad riding programs.
Okay, cool. We are looking at this picture. This is actually taken when I was in the States. This was in 2011 at Smoky Mountain, or they call it Blue Ridge Parkway. Of course, like many of us in Asia, I started riding when I was like in my teenage years. But I didn't pursue it much further. I went to the States to further my studies and all. In 2007, I was asked to go for a trip in Europe to ride in Austria, in France, and in Italy, up in the Alps. I have no idea totally on how to operate a big bike, right? To shift the gears. First gear is pressing down, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, going back up. So what I did was I went to the dealership, to the Motorrad dealership, and I know the dealer, the general manager. I said, hey, David, could I borrow a bike for a week? They said, where are you going to? I said, I'm just going to ride around my housing area just to know how to switch on the signal lines and start the bike and whatnot. And off I go. I went to Europe, right? Didn't have proper riding gear. I loaned a set of leather suit, which didn't fit me. I think it's more like your size. So we went to Europe. I was riding up in the Alps. It was raining. It was cold. It was like 5 degrees Celsius up in the mountain because I couldn't zip my bag. So the rainwater got onto my rear tail end.
Yeah.
Pardon my language, went to my nuts. So literally it was frozen. Went to my feet, soaking wet, 5 degrees Celsius, riding with the wind chill factor is, I literally froze up, right? But we went to some beautiful places up in the Alps. We even went to Eastern Europe. We went to Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic. Was fantastic. But I didn't enjoy that experience, right? Because I wasn't riding properly. I didn't have the proper riding gear. So fast forward 2 years later, and I was asked to go to America this time, and I was allowed to choose the bike that I want to ride in America. So this time I decided to choose something that is smaller and lighter, which you can see in the picture, which is the F800 GT. I was there for 2 weeks, went to the Bourbon Trail, Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina. It was fantastic, and I couldn't get enough of it. So when I got back to Malaysia, I went to look for a bike. Yeah, I went to look for to buy a bike. So that's how we started. So within a week, I bought myself a bike. Yeah, this picture is in Laos. Yeah, this is in 2015. So I bought a bike and I started riding almost like 3, 4 times a week. But those
Okay.
guys were fast that I was riding with, and I was like, I couldn't figure it out. And I asked them, I said, "Hey, mate, how do you go so fast around the corner?" He said, "Just guess it." I was like, "No, I don't want to die, right?" And you get,
Famous last words, right? Just guess it.
yeah, just guess it, right? So I was like, and you ask 10 people and you get 10 different answers. That's not the way to go. And so I started reading, watching a lot of videos. Eventually, because of my affiliation with BMW Motorrad, so I was doing product training. So I was able to sign up as an instructor. So I attended the instructor course in Munich in 2014. And that really taught me how to ride properly, the proper way to ride in a safe manner. And once you have the proper technique, automatically you'll be fast. So it all started from there, yeah. 2014 when I got certified as a bike trainer, and then of course you put into practice what you have learned. And of course, I attended California Superbike School in the Philippines,
Yeah.
yeah, that was organized by you. That further elevated, yeah, my know-how in terms of riding, yeah. So that's a long story made short.
Great. And you did both the school in Philippines and this one is in Malaysia as well, right?
Sepang, yeah, this
Sepang.
is in
Yeah.
Sepang. So Philippines, I think I did level 1 and 2, and then in Sepang I did level 3 and 4. Yeah, yeah,
Awesome. Good times,
yeah.
man. Question. So with all of this training that you've done, all of the knowledge that you have gained over these years, right? If let's say, for example, somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, I want to buy a bike," what would you tell them? As what would you tell yourself if you were the newbie and you wanted to buy a bike, and then you could basically go back in time and tell yourself, "Bro, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to look for." What would be your advice to yourself?
Oh, that's a tough one because when I bought my first bike, I was in the same situation. So my friends were saying like, buy the most powerful bike that you could afford to. What I would say is first take your time to choose that the bike you want to buy. Consider a few things. Number one is where do you plan to ride to? Are you going to ride, for example, more on the racetrack, or are you the type that like to do a lot of adventure riding? Or are you the type that in Malaysia we call it Starbucks rider? So basically, you just like to ride your bike up to the mountain, have a cup of coffee, and then you are back home. So it all depends. Number one, on the type of riding that you plan to do, and
Okay.
number two, it's the group of friends or community that you plan to be a part of, right? So if
Okay.
you are with a group of guys that mainly they like to go to the track, say at least once or twice a month. So maybe you may want to consider a sports bike or a naked roadster that can, can go to the track, yet at the same time it's friendly enough that you can ride it to the city or every day. So those 2 points that I've just mentioned, I would suggest for anyone that wants to buy a bike to think along those 2 points. Yeah, the group of friends, community that you want to be a part of, and what kind of rides do you want to do? Yeah, just like cars, right? You have different types of bikes. You have adventure bikes that can go off road, on road, long travel. You have sports bike. You have roadsters. Now even you have the classic roadsters. So there are so many options. Yeah. So to help you to choose the bike, I think just go along those 2 points I've mentioned. Who do you plan to ride with, the community, and the type of rides that you would love to do. So then it helps to narrow down the decision a lot easier.
That is great advice because I myself only ride at the track. I mean, I used to have a bike and I used to ride on the road, and then I realized that that wasn't for me. At least in the Philippines, because man, people out here are
Yeah, yeah,
nuts. It's
yeah,
not you have to be careful of. It's them, right? You're gonna get
yeah.
into trouble on the roads out here because of the people that are just not knowledgeable enough about driving. But I think that's a great point. So you've narrowed it down to the type of bike that you want because of the type of people that you hang out with or the type of places that you like to ride to. So now you've bought the bike, right? You've told
Yeah.
yourself this information. You ended up with a bike. And what would you have bought? What was your first bike?
I bought a BMW K13R. At that time, it was the most powerful BMW bike. So I followed my friend's advice. I bought the most powerful BMW bike because
And
they
how did
told me,
that
they
go?
said, yeah, well, it was great. It was great actually because they told me, they said, knowing me that, if I buy a lesser bike, I would sell the bike
Mm,
within 6 months. Once you,
yeah,
basically, I think it's the same with cars, right? You just want to have as
yeah,
much power that every time when you ride the bike, you're at the edge.
yeah,
That's where the fun is. So I bought a
yeah.
K1300R. I had great fun with it. I went to the track with it. I rode it every weekend up to the mountains. It was crazy fast. 2 years later, after I bought the K13R, and then I joined another group of guys and that likes to do a lot of long rides, and also we call it overland tours, means to go to another country. And of course, the K13R being a roadster, it's not suitable for that. Yeah, it's not suitable for adventure riding, to go off road, rough terrain, go through potholes and stuff like that.
Right.
So I bought another bike. I bought a GS, F800 GS, just to do
Uh-huh.
all these adventure rides. In one of the pictures that I've shared, so I actually made a 6,000 kilometer trip, rode from Malaysia, rode from home, no cheating, putting the bike on the truck or on the train, rode from home all the way, went through North Thailand, Laos, and came back. Yeah,
Wow. How
6,000
many days was
kilometers.
that? How long did that take?
Uh, it took about 2 weeks. Took about 2 weeks. The
Wow.
idea is,
Amazing.
yeah,
That's awesome.
it, it, it was awesome. It was awesome. I think that is one part of biking that it's so much fun, and I would say more sustainable. Not just going to the track where you're riding on the same track day in day out, but to be able to go to places where cars can't get to go to see the country, from all the rural areas, rural towns. It's amazing experience, yeah, especially in Laos. And that is a beautiful thing about biking, yeah, to see countries from a different perspective. So anyway, so that
Right.
was my F800 GS. That was my second bike, which I still own both of these bikes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay. So you've bought the bike, right? You've given yourself the advice. You've figured out what bike to buy. You've bought the bike. What would be your next piece of advice to new riders or your yourself as a new rider?
I think the most important thing is to be safe on the road, to learn how to ride the bike properly. And this is the thing, yeah, because I have a lot of friends, customers, because I do product and sales training, and I always get people asking me the same question, like, what bike should I
Yeah.
buy? And of course, the second question they ask me, can you help me to get some discount from the dealer since you know the
Yeah.
boss and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
And can you help me get accessories, right?
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to talk about. And people are willing to spend, say, for example, when you buy a bike, everyone would modify the bike. They will first thing they would do is they will buy a Acra Pro Reach slip-on exhaust,
Right.
easily more than $1,000 US.
Right.
Basically, it make the bike sounds better. Maybe you gain 2 to 3 horsepower more. That's
Yeah.
about it, right? But it's cool to have a Acra Pro Reach, which I have on my bike as well. But when you talk to people and say that you should sign up for rider training to make yourself a better rider, oh, how much does it
Yeah.
cost? 200 US. Oh, that's expensive. So that is where
Yeah.
the problem is. And I always tell them the best upgrade for you is to upgrade the rider, not to upgrade the bike. Same thing with cars. People are willing to spend thousands, yeah, to change the exhaust, the suspension,
The
and the wheel
wheels
set and
and
whatnot.
all these things. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing that will really make you go faster around the track is to sign up a class with JP Tuason to drive around the racetrack, right?
I totally agree with you. We have it the same here in Philippines as well. People are willing to spend so much on crazy accessories, but they're not willing to invest in themselves. I totally agree with you. For both bikes and cars, if you buy a car, you buy a bike, you have to invest in yourself, right? If you're a better driver or a better rider, then it will make the experience not only safer but also more enjoyable.
Totally. Yep. I would just speak from my own experience. So once I was able
Mm,
to ride in a safe manner, and of course you will be going a lot quicker because you are smoother, and it's effortless, and you enjoy the experience more because you're not so stressed up. I know a lot of riders when they see corners are coming up ahead. It's like, oh no, cornering again. Can we go on
Yeah,
some route
yeah, yeah,
that have lesser corners, right? So
yeah,
they are so stressed up, so they don't enjoy the experience. But once you know the art of cornering, that's when you
yeah.
really enjoy looking for corners, right? And just go
That's
around
right.
and just like you get into a rhythm. So my best advice for new riders, please sign up. It doesn't have to be from me, or get a good
Yeah,
instructor, right?
not even from us. We
Yeah,
we also believe that so long as you get educated, right? It's all about education. If you can't afford to go to me or to go to you, right? Just get educated, right?
yeah. That is the most important thing to do, because we want you guys to keep riding for a long time. So being safe
Agreed.
is I think that is the most important thing, actually, right? The most important thing. So invest in yourself, enroll in a proper riding lesson, learn the art of riding properly, keep yourself safe, and that will make the experience a lot more enjoyable. Seriously, yeah. That is my advice to anyone that wants to start riding. Learn how to ride properly. Yeah.
Great advice. Great advice. Let's move on to some of these photos, KK.
Sure. This is 2 years ago at Sepang. We were doing the S1000RR launch. So the best place to do it, of course, is on the racetrack. Here I was presenting the bike to the media people all over Malaysia, talking about the new S1000RR. That's an awesome bike. I think until now it's still one of the better bikes to ride on the racetrack. Uh, out of out of the box, you don't need to do much modification, and yeah, straight away you can be pretty competitive on the track with the S1000. So that's part of my job. Going to Europe, I get to go to Europe once a year, usually in January, where I'll be meeting with trainers from all over the world. And the best part is I could also meet up with people that were actually involved with the designing of the bike, the engineers, the team leader, and you could get a lot of insider knowledge about these motorcycles, which I would then pass on to the sales consultants or even to some customers. We had one customer who bought a HP4 race, yeah, in Malaysia, the only one.
Right.
He didn't have any user manual on the bike, and which I have access to because I know the people in Munich. So yeah, so that's the fun part, going to Munich, and especially if you like products, you get to talk to these people, and it's quite interesting. Sometimes you'll be asking questions like, "Why did you guys do this and not that way?" So, and then you get the answer from them, and you'll be like, "Ah, okay, now it makes sense." But so my job then is to get this message out to the people, to the buyers, to the sales consultants, so that they could understand the reason of why the bike is designed in such a manner and how to fully utilize the bike to the maximum potential. Yeah. So yeah, that's part of what I do as well, product training and product launches.
Great. And you do that in multiple countries as well, right? It's not just Malaysia. You travel all over.
Yeah, Vietnam, Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, India. So this is in India. This is in 2017. I think we did the first BMW Motorrad track day in India. Was crazy, yeah. We went there. So I brought 3 instructors from Malaysia to go to India. They were telling me that these guys are all beginners. So you just need to do a simple program on the racetrack. I said, okay, fine. So went over there, and then
Yeah,
we set up
you
the
can
track.
tell by the leathers that that these guys have a little bit of experience, eh?
Yeah, so we set up the track, and then the next day we were there early, of course. Yeah, we were there at 7 in the morning, and I saw guys with trucks coming in. The bikes were all on the trucks, race tires with tire warmers, and I started chatting with them, just trying to get to know them. And this
Yeah.
guy is like India under 20 champion, and this guy is like senior India champion for the last 3 years. I'm like, hey, you guys don't need lessons from me. You guys know how to ride. They say, no, it's good to learn something new, but these are all serious riders, the best riders
Right.
in India.
It's going to be
But
a tough
we had
crowd, huh?
tough crowd. These guys were all super fast, very
Mm,
good riders,
mm.
and we also have some very prominent VIPs in the group. I shouldn't mention their name, but prominent people. But it was a great experience. I think one key takeaway from this is from them, because a lot of them never really had proper, I would say, riding lesson. I think they are
Right.
extremely talented, I think extremely talented. So they just learn on their own. They never really had
Right.
any lessons. So when we were able to do some drills, share with them on some of the, like for example, steering technique, or how to lean the bike even more into the corner.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they actually went 1 or 2 seconds faster after the training. That's a half day
Wow.
training. Yeah, that is the amazing part. I mean, these guys definitely can go around the track. Some of them, Indian race champions, they could ride faster than me on the track, no doubt about it. But after what I shared with them, they went even faster, 1 2 seconds faster after that. For example, a football coach, he may not be as good as Ronaldo or Lionel Messi, but a coach can help to improve your game. So
That's right.
similarly, as a coach, we may not be able to ride as fast as the fastest riders, but we can definitely help to improve their lap timing, yeah, by pointing out where they can improve their skills. So that was a good experience in India. So ended up happy ending, great ending. Yeah, 2017 in India.
What kind of riding experience they've got, right? I totally get what you're saying, right? As a driving or riding instructor, I think the best thing that we can give to these guys is to share the knowledge that we have, right? And by sharing what we have with them, it gives us our own fulfillment. So, yeah, I totally get that. That's great, man. So,
Yeah.
what was this event?
This was in 2019. We organized a BMW Motorrad track day in Ho Chi Minh City. This is about an hour away from Ho Chi Minh City. So they have a motorcycle racetrack in Vietnam. It's pretty interesting, good facilities. We actually had a 2 day training program. We invited customers to ride on the racetrack. So very similar to what we did in India, but we were using the G310 smaller bikes and of course the
Okay.
S1000R, because the track is not a big track. It's more like, I would say, probably 2.5 kilometers at most. Again, it was a great experience, just teaching them the basics of riding a motorcycle properly, the riding position, steering technique, line of vision, and stuff like that. Because a lot of them, in Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, a lot of them started with scooters and small bikes. And then a lot of them aspire to own a premium bike. So
Right.
a lot of them is their first time riding a premium bike on the racetrack. They thoroughly enjoy that experience on the racetrack. So that was good. Yeah, we had almost, yes, about 120 people over 2 days. Yeah, that was a big crowd, and they totally loved it. Yeah, totally loved it in Vietnam.
Amazing. So, with all of the things that have happened with the pandemic, and hopefully we're now drawing to a close of it with everybody getting vaccinated. You can see some of the first world countries starting to open up because of the amount of people getting vaccinated in those countries. What do you see is the future in Asia for motorcycle riding?
I think Asia has an enormous potential, especially when it comes to contributing to tourism. For example, we have so much to offer. Not only in Malaysia, I mean Philippines. There's so much to offer in the Philippines. Natural beauty. What we want to do here, I think, in Asia is to get more people into riding. I think it's a fun hobby to have. It's a fun sport, exciting sport, and at the same time, is to get people to go more into adventure riding. I mean, all of
Okay.
us going to get old one day. We are getting old one day. We can't ride the bike as fast as what we used to do. But what
Right.
I can see, the trend is a lot of people are going more into touring. So
Okay.
in Asia, there's so much to offer. So if you have a bike and you can bring your bike, for example, from the Philippines, bring your bike to Thailand, and then you can do a tour in Indochina, for example. Beautiful countries, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, fantastic places to ride. Yeah, up in the mountains, sea, and you can go to the rural areas. You can still see some of the mountain tribe people living in a very traditional way. So that makes it really interesting. So yeah, so in Asia, I think there is a humongous potential for this motorcycle industry. It just needs people to get it moving into the right direction.
Okay, and I hope to see you moving it in that direction, my friend. So we're now about to wrap up our riding shotgun conversations with KK Wong of BMW Motorrad. And as we wrap it up, my friend, a very quick final question to you. What would you give as a safety tip, right, to new riders out there that have just bought a bike, want to go riding, haven't they haven't gone to the school or they haven't done formal training yet. They've bought their acrophobic exhausts and wheels and all that stuff. What would you give them as a gift in terms of safety tip?
Oh, safety tip. There's so much to talk about this, but I'll just make it brief. Number one, when you buy a bike, as we talked about just now, accessories and stuff like that. The other aspect is to buy the most expensive jacket, pants, shoes that you could afford, right? And please ride with your riding gear all the time. I know we are living in tropical countries. It's hot, it's humid. It's better to sweat than to bleed. When you have a fall, if you have your suit on, it will protect you. Yeah. So buy the best suit that you could afford. I know it's pricey. I went through the same journey. I was trying to buy some cheap Japanese stuff. Didn't work out that well. When I fell, not ashamed to say it. Yeah, I've fallen before, and the jean just torn. Right, jean just torn. Even though
Yeah.
it's supposed to be Kevlar jeans and stuff like that. So buy the best riding gear that you could afford. And when you first start riding, don't go too fast. Ride at your own pace. Don't try to chase your friends. Just enjoy the experience until you become better. You will be better once you ride more often. So ride with all the gears, proper gears, and ride slowly when you start off. Don't try to chase your friends. Ride at your own pace.
All
That would
right,
be
there
my
you
tip.
go.
Yep.
KK Wong, how can the viewers follow you on Facebook or Instagram? You want to promote your pages?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. You can look for me, KK Wong. That's my call sign on Facebook. And then on Instagram, Maverick KK Wong. You can find me there as well on Instagram. So yeah, usually share a lot of videos and pictures. Of course, all these are throwbacks. We can't travel anywhere. We can't do new events. So yeah, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, KK Wong or Maverick KK Wong.
All right, there you go, you guys. Maverick KK Wong, a very good friend of ours, and again a fellow instructor. He's very very gracious with all of the information he shares. So please follow him on his social media pages. So of course, please do like and follow us on our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram at Tuason Racing, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Tuason Racing TV. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are updated with our latest happenings. So tune in every Wednesday at 8 p.m. for Riding Shotgun Conversation Season 2. If you have any topics or guests that you'd like us to feature, please put it in the messages below. And this has been JP Tuason. See you all on the next episode.